Yesterday, Bitcoin made another huge rejection from this trendline resistance, and we're now seeing a little bit of more downside. And this is the reason why 99% of all the traders are getting trapped by Bitcoin right now. But in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know for Bitcoin to prepare for the next week and what you need to know to don't be trapped by Bitcoin. There's a lot of interesting news coming into the market, which I will discuss with you in this video, because all this bullish news will most likely have a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin in the future. Later in the video, I will also have a look at the two altcoins, Ethereum and Chainlink. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end to don't miss anything. Please like the video and it will be highly appreciated by me. And don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. And with that being said, let's now dive right into the charts. On the 1 hour time frame for Bitcoin, we saw this huge triangle was unfolding. We saw multiple lower highs and higher lows, and eventually the price of Bitcoin was getting squeezed into an apex. We saw a breakdown of the support level, then we retested it as resistance, and now we are seeing a big rejection from this level. And yesterday in my video I warned you about this bearish retest and that you could enter the market potentially from this bearish retest in a short. So if you did enter the market just like me in the short, you made a very significant trade, so congratulations if you took this trade together with me. And now we can see that this beautiful resistance area is now unfolding, and this trendline resistance is looking very strong. So eventually, every time we touch this resistance area, it becomes a little bit more weaker. So we are seeing multiple touch points here. So I think that Bitcoin will finally break above this resistance, retest it as support, and from there I'm going to enter the market in a long, and then I'm going to aim for higher targets. And then the top side of this formation will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will be around $106,000. So this could be the next bullish scenario for Bitcoin that could play out in the coming days. But of course, we could also see that this resistance area is a little bit too strong, that we're coming back to this resistance area again, and that we're going to see a big rejection another time. So for now, we need to break this resistance in order to become a little bit more bullish. But for now, we are just in this downtrend on the 1 hour time frame. And yesterday, the Bitcoin ETFs had a little bit of a bearish day. We saw a total outflow of $140.2 million, and this was exactly because Fidelity and Grayscale were both selling their Bitcoin. So this was having a little bit of a bearish effect on the market. We can also see that BlackRock didn't buy any Bitcoin yesterday. So we want to see that BlackRock is going to buy a huge amount of Bitcoin today. So this is the last trading day of the week, and let's see what we can see for the Bitcoin ETFs, and if we can maybe see a huge spike to the top side again, and that we're coming to the $41 billion in total cumulative inflow. And that of course will be having a very bullish effect on this Friday for Bitcoin. And looking at another 1 hour time frame chart, we can see that Bitcoin is currently in this consolidation. We can see on the top side some resistance coming into the market, and also on the lower side we can see multiple touch points as support. And especially we are going to see a huge price squeeze of this price of Bitcoin, and finally eventually we will see a huge breakout to either the top side or either the downside. And currently we are in the middle of this consolidation trend, so let's see what will happen for Bitcoin. And as we can see here, we saw a huge spike to the top side, then we saw some consolidation, so we could also see a continuation of the bullish uptrend, and then we have to aim for this higher side of the formation, which will be confluent with the $102,000. But of course there's also a bearish scenario possible, and that means that Bitcoin is going to break below the support area, retest the support as resistance, and then we have to aim for lower prices. So this is the next scenario for Bitcoin. And do you think we are going to see a break above this pattern, or do you think we are going to see a bearish break? Let me know in the comments down below. And yesterday we had also some very interesting news coming in, and that was that Trump Media is going to launch its Bitcoin Plus ETF. So this is very bullish for the Bitcoin market, and if Trump Media is going to launch their Bitcoin Plus ETF, it will have a very interesting effect on the price of Bitcoin, because I think Trump will just launch its own Bitcoin fund, and through this fund he can buy Bitcoin, because he don't want to buy it via the BlackRock ETF or some other ETF. So I think he will just make his own Bitcoin ETF, so he can buy it through his own ETF. And this is of course very bullish, because this also means that America is going to have its Bitcoin strategic reserve in the coming future, and this will have a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin, and it will also be marking the huge bull market for Bitcoin in 2025, I guess. And zooming out to the daily time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is currently making this retest of this previous resistance to test it as support, because we first saw this huge triangle unfolding with multiple touch points on the top side as resistance and also on the lower side as support. We are retesting this resistance as support multiple times, and now we're coming back to the support, so we need to see a bounce from this level for Bitcoin in order to become more bullish. And for now, if Bitcoin is falling below this support area, we could potentially see a retest of the support to test it as resistance, and then we have to aim for lower prices because the price of Bitcoin doesn't look very strong right here. So today, or maybe in the coming days, we need to see a bounce from this level in order to become a little bit more bullish. And of course, we want to then come back to this top side resistance, and then we have to break it to the top side to create more all-time highs. So this will of course be very bullish for the price of Bitcoin. But for now, we are at this lower side support. And of course, at the support is also a very interesting place to buy more Bitcoin. But later in this video, I will tell you a lot of interesting price targets which I'm looking at for my next buy orders. And the buy orders I'm looking at for Bitcoin are showing in this chart. So if we're coming back to all the way to this huge support block on the lower side, we can see this huge green box of accumulation. And every time we touch this green box of accumulation, I was buying more Bitcoin in the past. And every time we came to this top side resistance, I was selling a little bit of my portion to take in a little bit of profits. So for now, we are a little bit at the lower side of this range. And as we can see here, Bitcoin is ranging inside of this horizontal channel. And on the top side, we can see multiple touch points as resistance. And on the lower side, as I said, we can see a lot of support coming into the market. So last week, we saw a beautiful bounce from the support area. And if your buy order got hit, you are significantly up already. And I hope you took a little bit of profits already. But for now, Bitcoin is showing a little bit of weakness here. And we could, for instance, come all the way back to this level. And that means that Bitcoin is coming to the $92,000. So as I said, if Bitcoin is coming to this green box of accumulation, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin for the long term, because eventually I think that Bitcoin will see prices above the $100,000, and buying below the $100,000 is a no-brainer for me. And I think personally that Bitcoin is coming to the topside resistance in the coming days and weeks, because there's a lot of bullish news coming into the market, and a lot of investors are waiting to deploy their money into the market and to buy Bitcoin. So eventually we will see prices above the $100,000. So I think at these prices, you should be bullish for Bitcoin. And yesterday we had also some other very interesting news coming in, and that was the former PayPal president is saying that he wants to sell gold reserves to buy Bitcoin. And he's saying that we are, and with we, he means the American government, are the #1 holder of gold. And if you think of Bitcoin as a better version of gold, why not rebalance a portion of that reserve into Bitcoin? And there's a lot more growth in Bitcoin in the coming decades. So America owns a lot of gold, and he said that if America is wanting to buy more Bitcoin, why not shift a little bit from gold into Bitcoin? And also because gold is at an all-time high currently. So selling a little bit of their gold into Bitcoin will have a huge effect on the price of Bitcoin, of course. And it will also pump up the price for Bitcoin even more. And I think this could be the start of the Bitcoin strategic reserve for America. And it could also mean that the bull market is starting in the coming months. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. We can see Ethereum is holding this support very strong, and we can see this horizontal levels are respected very carefully. And in the past we can see a lot of resistance and support coming into the market, and this huge price action is now confluent with the price action where we are currently. So as we can see here, we made a very significant rise to the top side. We came all the way to the $4,000. But now we are seeing that this downtrend is unfolding for Ethereum, and we can see lower lows and lower highs. So this is a little bit more bearish than bullish. But if we're going to see finally a shift of this trend, then we need to make a higher high and higher low as well. And then we can see a shift of the bearish trend into a bullish trend for Ethereum. So this could be the next scenario for Ethereum. But for now, we are seeing a little bit of capitulation. But as I'm always saying, every time we go a little bit lower, I'm going to buy more Ethereum for the long term. So eventually, if Ethereum is coming to these lower prices, I'm going to buy more Ethereum for the long term, because I think Ethereum will finally see prices above the $10,000. And from this price, it's still a 4x. So eventually, if we're going lower, I'm going to buy more Ethereum. And let's have a look at the Ethereum ETF flows of yesterday. And there we can see that yesterday was a little bit of a bullish day for the Ethereum ETFs. BlackRock was buying again for $10.7 million yesterday. And we can see that the other ETFs didn't buy or sell anything. So in total, we saw this number coming into the market. And yeah, this was having a little bit of a bullish effect on the price of Ethereum. So let's see if this last day of the week can also be a little bit more bullish, and let's see if other ETFs are going to buy Ethereum as well. And if we have a look at another daily chart for Ethereum, we can see this huge descending triangle for Ethereum. Finally, we broke this huge support area to the downside, which was looking very bearish eventually. So we could potentially see a retest of this previous support to test it as resistance. And from there, you can enter the market possibly in a short and aim for lower targets. And this could be the bearish scenario that could play out for Ethereum. But of course, we want to see that Ethereum is going to rise again, come back to this huge resistance area, and eventually we want to see a break to the top side, a retest of the resistance to test it as support, and then we have to aim for higher prices. And then the top side of this formation will be confluent with the breakout target, and that will be around the $4,000. So currently we are at the $2,700. So let's see if we can come all the way back to the $4,000 in the coming weeks. But of course, if we have a look at the 1 hour time frame, we can also see that Ethereum is currently in this price squeeze. We can see on the top side a lot of resistance coming in, and on the lower side we can see multiple touch points here as support. So eventually the price of Ethereum is getting squeezed into this apex in the coming hours and days, and we are going to see either a break to the top side or a break to the downside. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this Ethereum price squeeze? Are we going to see a break to the top side, or do you think that we will see more lower prices and that we're going to see a break to the downside? And the next altcoin I want to have a look at is Chainlink. We can see that Chainlink is currently in this huge bull flag formation. We saw this beautiful run up from the bear market lows, and now we are seeing a multi-month consolidation to the downside. And this falling channel is a bullish bias pattern because it tends to break to the top side more often. After we saw a huge run up, we're now seeing some consolidation, and I think the longer the consolidation is, the bigger the next move will be. And for instance, if Chainlink is going to break to the top side, I'm waiting for a retest of the resistance to test it as support, and then we can aim for higher targets. But of course, there's also a bearish scenario possible, and that means that Chainlink is going to see a bearish break below this huge trendline support. And if this happens, I'm going to wait for a retest of the support to test it as resistance, and then we can aim for lower targets. And this, of course, will be very bearish, but this is also a scenario that could play out in the coming weeks. So for now, we are looking at this bull flag formation, and as I said, the bull flag formation is a typical bullish bias pattern, and I think we are most likely going to see bigger chances that we're going to see a break to the top side, and then we can see a new all-time highs for Chainlink in the coming weeks. And if we zoom out all the way to the weekly time frame, we can also see that these horizontal levels are acting as support and resistance. In the past, we can see at this level a lot of price interaction as resistance and support. And currently, we are falling below this support again. So this is looking very bearish. And this weekly candle is looking bearish. So of course, the week is not over. So if Chainlink can close its weekly candle above this support area, we are still fine. And then we can see maybe a little bit of a continuation to the top side. And maybe we can come back to this top side resistance, and that will bring Chainlink all the way to the $29. So for now, it is looking very bearish, and this weekly candle needs to be closing in green. And if this doesn't happen, we can possibly see a retest of this support to test it as resistance, and then we can maybe see a little bit lower prices for Chainlink. But I think we will see a close of this candle in green, and that will mean that this support level is holding strong on the weekly time frame, and then we can aim for this higher side resistance. So also as well, let me know in the comments, are you still bullish on Chainlink, and what is your price prediction for Chainlink in 2025? Personally, I think that Chainlink will hit prices around the $100 this bull cycle. So again, please like the video if you think it was useful. In the description under this video, you can follow me on my free Telegram group, and you can join with clicking the link in the description. You can also follow my Twitter channel, and please follow me there as well. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.